once we unravel and identify the real things behind the excuses go away, and you can just eat what your body needs to heal, right? Because ultimately, when this is on board, the food is easy. It is so easy. A lot of times, people will think, here they are trying to eat healthy to heal. Maybe this is you, right? If you're listening to me right now, you're trying to learn how to eat optimally to reverse disease, to get healthy. And oftentimes people will think, if the excuse is good enough, then it's probably all right to eat inflammatory, right? That I'll just do it if it's convenient, when it's convenient. But if something comes up and it's a good enough reason, that somehow it doesn't count. And Thomas and I have talked about this, and we think that the origin of this idea really comes from being a kid, right? When you're a kid, if you do something, you get in trouble. If your excuse is good enough, you might not get in trouble, right? If you can give your parents a good enough reason of why you're up late or why you didn't do your homework or whatever it was, if the excuse is good enough, you don't get punished, right? But that is not true when it comes to health and recovery. This is one of the big real lessons that we help people understand in things like rapid recovery, where we spend 6 weeks every day helping people reverse disease. And it is extremely intense. People join this group to get intensive coaching and oversight. We are looking every day at what people ate, how well they slept, their self-care, their moods, and on top of that, helping them every day reverse the thinking and the habits that created the health they have. Because your health is a result of your habits around your food, your stress, your sleep, your self-care, how you value your own self-worth. I was just helping someone in her 80s right before this meeting with you to help her understand how her own self-worth is stopping her from giving herself the self-care she needs and asking others for help that she would happily give somebody else. So all of these things factor into creating health. And so if we want to create a permanent result for people, we have to do all that. You can create a temporary result with just things like nutrition, right? If we didn't work on people's mental state at all and just said, we will watch you eat for 6 weeks every single day, make sure you eat perfectly, we could get results. We do. But it doesn't necessarily change the mental habits that got them there. And so one of the most important things that we teach them that I want to help you with is understanding why they let themselves go off plan, right? Why would you invest in your health in this way and then eat a cookie and then eat pizza or whatever it is that you ate? Not in a way to shame them. Shame, no. We release that. There's no judgment in the process. It's just help and understanding and helping people understand themselves and why they make their decisions. Well, one of the things that we often see come up when someone does eat off plan is that they think if the reason is good enough, somehow it will negate the bad effects on the body. And it's not true. Even if you have a great excuse, if you eat something inflammatory, it's going to create inflammation in your body. You might have a great excuse to put your hand on a stove, but if the stove is on, it's going to burn you, no matter what your excuse. Maybe your stove was on and you tripped and fell, and then you grabbed the stove as you fell down. It's a great excuse. You're still burned. And it's important to understand that when it comes to your nutrition and health. And so when we are helping people understand their own psychology, that's how we dive in deeper. So for example, one of the things I hear often is, well, I was hungry and there was nothing else to eat, and so therefore that's why I ate cookie, let's say. So then we have to help them understand, well, in reality, eating nothing was better than eating a cookie, because being hungry for an hour or so until you could get some real food, that doesn't cause any health problems. It just makes you a little uncomfortable. Like, I don't like being hungry. I like being full. That's my favorite. I hate being hungry. But if it was a choice between being hungry and eating like cheese, I'll be hungry, because the hungry doesn't hurt my body. The cheese will, right? So that's just an excuse. And so that's a big excuse I see people use, is that like, there was nothing else and I was hungry. You can fast for a few hours. Hey, you fast all night when you're sleeping and you survive. You wake up in the morning awake, right? We can fast. I would rather you plan ahead. But if in the moment it happens that there's nothing for you to eat, okay, so don't eat. Maybe have some herbal tea, maybe drink some water, and then plan for how you're going to get the food you need. right? Sometimes we have to go deeper. Sometimes it's other things. Like one of the ones that I see a lot is the Martyr Syndrome, that like I had to eat something bad for me to make someone else happy because this old woman gave me a cookie and you can't say no to an old woman, or my mother-in-law made me this chicken something because it was my favorite and she didn't know that I wasn't eating this and I didn't want to make her feel bad. And so this whole idea that somehow you must martyr yourself for the happiness of others. So then in those folks, I have to go deeper into their psychology. And where did you learn that what's good for you is not valuable, or that somehow it's your responsibility to make others happy, right? And so a lot of the times, once we unravel and identify the real things behind the excuses go away and you can just eat what your body needs to heal, right? Because ultimately, when this is on board, the food is easy. It is so easy. There's no thinking involved, really. Make a smoothie, eat a salad. If you want to, use Hello Delicious and make something fancy, but it's very simple. So if it feels difficult, this is making it difficult. And so one of the most important things you can do is let go of excuses and the belief that if there is a good enough reason, then it's okay to eat something that hurts me. It's not the case, all right? And it's your brain looking for an excuse. It's very much the dieter mentality. Right? A dieter, and I used to diet before I discovered this and never had to diet again. I was a dieter. And I remember in college going on diets. My favorite at the time in college was the Slim Fast, because you could buy the cans of that chocolate processed garbage. And I would drink nothing but that for like 3 to 4 days before an event where I wanted to wear a cute dress or something so that I could lose the weight and fit into it. And then what would happen was I'd lose the weight and be starving and grumpy all the time, but I'd lose the weight. And then the weekend that I started eating again, I'd gain it all back plus some, but it's that mentality of I can deprive myself for a little while because I know eventually I'm going to eat that again. That's a dieter mentality. And if you have that mentality, your brain's always going to be looking for a good enough excuse. Well, what's a little bit? A little bit won't hurt. Well, she's a nice lady. She's trying to make me happy. Or, well, I'm hungry. There's no other issue. There's no other stuff to eat. Might as well eat this, right? The reason you're willing to accept the excuse is because there's a part of you that's waiting for it, that I am going to eat that again, versus the actual mindset change of I no longer treat food as a drug or as a coping skill or as a way to please others. Food is my way to heal myself and to take care of myself. And I love myself enough to give myself what I truly need. So that's the evolution, and for many people, the revolution that's necessary.